Hey guys, welcome back to the TohirT channel. Tahir is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. Do you miss the sports as well as I do? As much as I do? I don't know. I do miss them a lot. And to me, yesterday was very special because one person decided to lead the pack and completely change the way we approach live events in 2020 in this post-COVID-19 era. His name is Dana White. He's the president of UFC, and yesterday UFC 249 trailblazed its way in the global sports by being the first live event globally that was hosted in this lockdown era. And I'm here to talk about Dana White, to talk about why I respect his approach and why I think a lot of us creatives and professionals can learn from the way he leads that global charge. And yes, it's a risk, but sometimes for you to be the one to change the world, you have to roll the dice and you have to make calculated risks. So without further ado, let's do this. There are various ways by which COVID-19, the entire lockdown, affected us. A lot of them are very tragic, but I'm putting them aside. I think you get enough of those on the news, and I'd rather focus on a little bit of a lighter topic for the benefit of all of us. And in case you are not satisfied with just one story about an inspirational person, here is the playlist, and also there's going to be a card at the end of this video showcasing to you the entire playlist of videos that I've made about different inspirational people. Well, to jump straight into the UFC and why I choose it as a topic, I'm a big fan. Out of all the sports that I love, I can clearly say that Formula 1 and UFC are my top two favorite. I watch UFC religiously. I barely miss cards. I watch sometimes even the preliminary cards, which are like, less popular fights. I also watch post-fight interviews. I consume a ton of content with regards to the fighters. I just in general appreciate both the business and also the passion. UFC specifically became this global phenomena, that sport, thanks to presidentship of Dana White. He's been the president for almost 20 years, and you can see the effect, the change that he made from the very beginning, from those first years when they just took on UFC, to now seeing these major events pre-COVID and now the first event post-COVID. In the great documentary that you can still find on Fight Pass, I'll link it in the description below, the Fertitta brothers, former owners of UFC and co-owners of UFC with Dana White, the guys who Dana White convinced to buy UFC in the first place and turn into sport that it is today. Both of those brothers talk about how without Dana White's leadership, UFC would never come to fruition.
Dana White is the only one that could have persevered through all the downturn and all the obstacles that we had. No one else could have made it happen other than Dana. He was the right choice.
I wanted to make a video about him for a while. For months it's been on my list, but I never had that proper trigger to give me an excuse to make this video until UFC 249, the event that took place last night. There was the first live sports event globally that was on the same scale that we would expect in the past without the audience. And to me, to be able to execute this kind of event, it took love for what you're doing, determination, and the relentless execution. And three of those factors both inspire me, I hope will inspire you and showcase you why I have so much respect for Dana White. Watching UFC 249 was a different experience, and I do want to thank all the people who were behind it and organizing it, putting everything together, and the fighters who actually showed up with their camps to perform for our enjoyment. It was also a very different experience from the perspective of not seeing the audience. The live sport without the audience is very different, especially UFC when you, let's face it, used to seeing this like thousands of drunk fans in the stadium, and now it's silence. Yet the silence brought that sound visceral effect to it. And I think now if you of sports leagues, NBA, NHLs, NFLs, MLBs of the world, they will take cues from UFC and how Dana White set up their first live event to see how they can come back to what I would call the new normal of the live sports. And pivoting from that to Dana White himself, let's face it, if you've seen him before, you've heard him before, he can be obscene, he can sound arrogant, he can be downright rude. The guy has not necessarily certain viewpoints that I agree with, especially the political ones, but I set all of that aside, for the respect of who he is as a professional and the person who has love for his craft, you know that this guy loves what he does. You know that every day when he wakes up at home, he is excited to start his day and to go through all these challenges that he has ahead of him. And this is what helps him drive it forward. He has the passion to carry on through any kind of challenges that they face. You know he wanted to have that event, but he took care of every person who was there. He acknowledged the risks that every person took, and I know he took care of them on the back end, whether it's financially or just in the matter of professional recognition. And this is what it takes. The love for your craft, the love of your profession is what it takes you to be successful. I'm not saying that you should be in love with the office gig. I know it's hard to be in love with just going into the office, attending the calls or attending the meetings. This is not what I'm in love with, but you have to find that silver lining through the profession that you're in. In my case, I have this full-time job, but my passion is not for the aspects around the full-time job. My love and passion is about what I do every day, which is build or change the processes, build or change new products and things, coaching people. This is what I'm excited about. And I can see this is the first trait in Dana White's playbook that I think we should all take on, is that love and passion for your craft. Find that silver lining. It doesn't have to be over complex. It doesn't have to be those auxiliary things that you do. If you're a painter, you don't have to be in love with mixing the paint, but you can be in love with the end result. The same way as is in any business profession, you don't have to be in love with every single aspect of the process, but as long as you're passionate and you care about the end result, you will be successful. Second trait that I want us to all copy from Dana White is his determination. In his office, in the gym inside his office, and by the way, it is an amazing office, man. It's like you have your chef, you have your own cafeteria, you have your own gym, your own sauna and shower. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Amazing office, but Jim, there is a quote. There is a quote on the wall by Bruce Lee. I'm not going to try to retell it from the memory. I'm just going to read it to you. If you always put limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. If it kills you, it kills you. A man must constantly exceed his level. By the way, a lot of the quotes that you see, or specifically the copies of this quote, they omit the last 2 points about if it kills you, it kills you, or the fact that you must exceed your level. But I think the key in driving home the point that I want to make, Dana White understands that you cannot approach your business with that limited mindset. You have to have what is sometimes cliche used to be no limit mindset, but I think it's true. You have to approach your business, your art, the work that you do without the limited mindset. You have to think about the fact that there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that's impossible as long as you put your 100% into it. In the world of pandemic, it is hard to drive the action of let's go get all together in the same place and have this sporting event. It's risky. It takes a lot of guts and determination to carry on. Dana pushed so hard up until the point where Disney's CEO had to get involved to pause them 2-3 weeks ago before they proved to them that they can actually execute it in a safely manner. And this is the importance of it. History will determine whether it was a right or wrong move. It's only been a day, less than 24 hours since the event. But to me, that aside, it took determination and it took real dedication to your craft to say, I want to have that event. I want to be the first one to host a live global sporting event. Being able to push like that for your goal, being able to push like that for something that you're 100% committed is what I want us to replicate. You do not need inherent skills or talent. You do not need inherent connections, existing heritage in the field, or some sort of fancy school diploma on your wall. Those things will help. Yes, I'm realistic about it. But I believe is that if you put two people who have those skills and connections and things, and you have someone who is fully determined to achieve that, who truly believes that they can achieve it, and every day when they work on that craft, that business idea, they put their 100%, they will eventually surpass that original person who had those connections and skills. Talent, skills, connections, they do not matter if you have determination and the willingness to work hard on your goal. The ending of the prior segment perfectly segues us into this final point, is that relentless execution is how you will leverage that passion and that 100% investment in every activity to deliver those results long term. In your passion projects, you cannot just clock in and clock out. It's not about how many hours you put in. It's not about the fact that you just showed into the office and you hit the keyboard a few times. It's about what you do. It's about how frequently do you continuously do this. That 150 weeks in the past, what helped me, because I know I can phone in one video or the other video. I might not create a perfect end result, but I know that I will be here and I'll try my best every single time. With Dana White and UFC, look at them. They do not have perfect stellar record of the events, but you can hear in Dana White's voice, you can hear him speaking at different interviews, how he right away recognizes whether it was a great event or a bad event. He knows what happened in that event and he knows how to improve it. He knows that he has to push in those small incremental steps. You do not have to right away, out of the gate, set up the goal that I'm gonna climb the Everest, but you have to set the goal of making that step, then the next step, then the following step. And that relentless execution of continuously improving that I've mentioned in some of my prior videos is what will get you there. I know that hosting a live event was not only about the PR of being able to say, hey, I'm the first live global event, or money to get the revenue. I know that in big part it was to continuously improve and to continue pushing that envelope, and the only way you can do it by hosting the events, but continuing to show up and going through the motions. You have to come and what some people call ship it. You have to ship the product. In the UFC case, it's an event. So Dana White was determined. He hated, you can hear in some of his interviews where he hated the idea of missing events. He hated the idea of slacking off and just sitting back, kicking back and relaxing and saying, COVID-19, I guess I cannot do anything. He wanted to deliver. He wanted to do something about it. And this is what I want you to take away. And if the other 2 points did not resonate, this one should, is that whenever you start working on something, it's frequently not about having the amazing idea or having this amazing overnight where you just sat for 10 hours straight and work at something. It will pale in comparison. Think about this point. You can show up and do something for 10 hours straight in a single day and then do nothing for 2 weeks. Or you can do something for 1 hour for those 2 weeks and at the end of the result, you've invested 14 hours versus this person who invested 10. And they might feel the glory of that marathon. Hey, I pushed hard, but they did not stay determined. They did not have the discipline to relentlessly execute on their action. So you have to do that. UFC have done it under Dana White's leadership, and they've improved and they became this global sport. And I know that in the post-COVID-19 era, in that new normal, UFC will continue to thrive thanks to that spirit that they have, that Dana White instilled in his organization. And you, when you start your own business, your own project, when you come to the office to work on whatever you're working on, even if you're a regular business analyst, if you continue that relentless execution, the results will follow. Have you ever watched UFC before? Did you know who Dana White was? And do you think you learned something new today? Share your thoughts and feedbacks in the section below. Okay, real talk for a second. You do not have to be, as I said, the most talented, the most skillful, but being able to express the love and passion for what you're doing, being determined in showing up every time, and being relentless enough to execute on that passion and that determination day in and day out, week in and week out, is what will take you from this mediocrity of being a novice in something to be too professional and potentially the trailblazer and the leader like Dana White. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. Seriously, for the outro, you have to go check out that video. I'll link it down below. Barstool's tour of Dana White's office. It's office in like huge quotation marks, meaning because it's like complex. He has, as I said, not only just his humongous office space where he sits and works at the desk, it has a freaking almost like an art gallery. Gym, a proper sized gym, like the ones that you and I go to exercise with like 20 other people. The sauna, all the different setups that makes his life easier to know where he is between the like the time clocks and the posters and all that stuff, motivational quotes that I've mentioned. And on top of that, I care about food. You have your own cafeteria and your own chef cooking for you breakfast, lunch, and dinner if needed. Man, that's office goals if I've ever seen one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.